This is the second part of Augustine Bohr's story, Pest Control. And we were in the garden with his grandmother, and she's asking, and he has a tooth coming out. Do when? I said. Do you know what to do when your tooth falls out? She asked, smiling at me. I didn't understand what she was asking me. Was there something I had to do? Call the police, I guess? She laughed, her gentle, though sometimes mischievous way. No, you don't call the police, silly. You don't know about the tooth fairy? The what? Honey, she said, almost concerned. She placed her catalog on her lap and leaned forward. The tooth fairy. You know about the tooth fairy. How could you not? You're 7 years old. Surely you know about the tooth fairy. I felt bad, like I'd done something wrong. No, I said in a small voice. My grandmother explained. Goodness gracious, I knew your mother was an odd bird, but I had no idea she was raising you in a cave in that forsaken New England. I wondered if my mother knew about a cave someplace, and if we could go there when I went back home. The tooth fairy is a fairy, like Tinker Bell. You know Tinker Bell, don't you? I did know Tinker Bell, the irritating cartoon insect. Yes, I said, I know that thing, I frowned. Well, the tooth fairy is like Tinker Bell. And whenever you lose a tooth, you place it under your pillow at night before you go to bed, and then the tooth fairy slips into your room and takes your tooth away and leaves some money in its place, right there under your pillow. Real money, sweetheart, that you can spend on whatever you like. I was horrified. I imagined that creepy bug woman with her devil wand sneaking into my bedroom at night while I was sleeping and taking my teeth and leaving things under the pillow that shouldn't be there. Cash, which my father said was very limited and something I knew I shouldn't have. Carolyn, is this real? I asked, because I couldn't believe it. She smiled and laughed as she set the catalog on the floor next to her feet. Baby, yes, of course it's real. The tooth fairy is real for every child. And I thought, why hadn't somebody warned me about this? Why hadn't any of my friends ever talked about this horrible bug that comes into your bedroom and takes your teeth? I immediately stopped fiddling with my tooth. I tried to press it back in place. That night, Carolyn tucked me in bed. Open your mouth, she said. I did. She leaned forward. Oh, you still got your tooth. That means the tooth fairy won't come tonight, but... And her eyes became wide. Maybe tomorrow. The skin around her mouth was cracked, and her lipstick was bleeding into the lines around her lips. Suddenly she seemed extremely scary. After she left, I got out of bed and checked the windows again. They were locked. But could it enter my room the other way? I went into the bathroom, which was attached to the bedroom, and I grabbed all the towels, rolling them into tubes and placing them in front of the crack under the door. I didn't know how strong the tooth fairy was, but I knew an ordinary